The last year and a half, we have done 50 workshops. A good chunk of them are education, a good chunk of them are use case creation, a good chunk of them are looking at the prerequisites, but all of them include strategy. And during those conversations, we really honed into the sort of three big important strategies and appropriate outcomes to support that. And purely by coincidence, it just so happens that we have the three experts on the webinar right now to address those actions.
What a coincidence indeed.
Jeff.
Yeah. So as Paul's talking about, we've got these workshops, and it is plural because we have workshops that help start the conversation in an organization with AI. We have ways to go and engage in workshops about the infrastructure and about the data and about the ethics and reliability and the risk that's associated with these projects. But how do you get started? Remember the whole deer in the headlights. There's a lot to think about. So in that very first workshop, it's really broken down into two primary areas. We spend the morning going through education and making sure we're all spelling AI the same way. And in the afternoon, we get into understanding two primary things. The first is we take a look at the overall infrastructure and tools and systems and policies that are in place to enable really any sort of technology transformation inside of an organization. Now, once we all agree on that, and the folks in the room, by the way, as executive leadership, IT and IT leadership, as well as representation from the business, because you got to bring all those folks together. This AI prompting stuff touches everything. And then what we do is we go through a series of really prioritizing use cases, AI use cases that they bring to the table. They thought about it, they submit them to us, they think of them as the day goes on. And we go through the process of helping we do two things. It's a technical discovery and prioritization process. 50% is that. Maybe 80% is also therapy, because we have people in the room who oftentimes have butted heads when, business looks at IT as the no factory and IT looks at the business like they don't know what they want or what they even need. And now we bring them together and have a conversation so that IT understands the business needs and the business understands the constraints that exist on the IT side, and all sorts of things show up. Sometimes we tell them, these are great ideas. You shouldn't do any of them. Your data's a mess. You've got issues around your policies and your risk. But ultimately, we get everybody on the same page. We're marching in the same order. We've looked at these use cases. We've whittled away the things that aren't AI. There's a lot of them when they come to the table, because remember, they're filling those out before we've even defined and gotten into what is actually AI. And then we figure out what the prioritization path is. We understand where the roadblocks are. And oftentimes, those roadblocks show up in the data.
What we really like about these workshops is they tend to be objective, right? So we will objectively talk to you about what words mean, right? How machine learning is distinctive from AI, and how the varying types of machine learning affect the kind of decision making you're going to make on each one of those use cases. One of the most important outputs of this workshop exercise is the actual strategy itself, your AI strategy, and it's really in 5 parts. First part is, how much money are we willing to spend, right? What's the mandate from the board or the CEO? Is this a $100 exercise or a $100 million exercise? And then where are you going to spend that time? Are you going to create and invent a new practice? Are you going to buy tools and technologies? Are you going to partner with other organizations? That's where I'm going to spend the millions of dollars. Next thing I want to do is, who gets to make that decision? Do I have an AI council, as an example? Do I have to build AI policy to support the end user tools and techniques available to them? Do I need to make architectural decisions? And who gets to make those architectural decisions? And then now I have 52 cards in my spending deck. Where do I put that money? Do I put that money in education? And sometimes this is just creating learning paths from the chairman of the board all the way to administrative staff. They need to learn different things and how to use these tools in front of them. And then do I put some of these cards in build, where I'm building out use cases using external models or tools to things like coding from a development perspective? Or do I put my money in using the embedded functions of the software I currently use? This might be my ERP or my CRM or my ITSM tools. The good part is that a good portion of the ROI will come from the embedded nature. This likely is coming almost directly from the productivity tool set. I'm using Google Workspace and slides and documents, and I'm creating value within the tools that I use every single day. One could argue productivity is 80% of most of the things that I do on a weekly basis, and the value I can create in that world where I'm, creating a velocity. What I used to be able to do in 8 hours, I can do in 2 hours. I can rethink about where I spend my time, sort of on the strategy front.